we're coming to get you, Barbara. It's like, Barbara, Barbara, we're coming to get you, Barbara. Guys, sorry about that. I couldn't help myself. But today we're going to be talking about Dawn of the Dead, not Night of the Living Dead. That was obviously the one before this. Night of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. But I'm going to personally be talking about my favourite one. It's the one in the middle. Generally the second film in a trilogy is the best one. Empire Strikes Back. For me, Two Towers. Not so much Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. But you know, anyway guys, here we go. Dawn of the Dead released in 1978. I'm not so sure if it's like a cult movie or whether it done well when it come out and it's actually a classic. I was born the same year, so I cannot remember. But I'm going to talk to you guys how I see it and how I've always seen it as a cult movie. Now, Dawn of the Dead was directed by the legendary George R. Romero. It stars actors like Dave Emridge, Ken Foree, Scott Rayner and Gillian Ross, and also starred the legendary makeup artist Tom Savini. Now maybe at some point I will do a video on Tom Savini's work, because it's done so much. Pretty much Dawn of the Dead, The Walking Dead, there are loads of other films that he's been involved with, and he does superb makeup. I believe he has an academy in America where he teaches people. Now, away from Tom Savini, we're going to go back to Dawn of the Dead, one of my favourite zombie movies ever made, if not my favourite. There's a few others. Shaun of the Dead, which is another great movie.
Get higher, baby. Get higher, baby. Get higher, girl. What's he do? Just say bass or freeze. What a tip.
Just a few others added on top. Now in Italy it had a different name. It's called Zombies. We could go into the Zombies trilogy, but it gets really confusing how they're numbered, so we are just sticking with how I always knew this series, and that was Dawn of the Dead was actually the second movie. Okay, it starts off at a news centre and it says, when there is no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth. I watched this as a kid, about 6 years old, and my mom had this great thing of showing me horror movies, and my mom was showing me some superb ones, showing me one or two that scared me, but this made me embrace the horror genre, and the reason why I love horror movies probably more than any other type movie. Science fiction, RoboCop, Predator, these are great movies as well. Now, like I said, for me it is one of the best zombie movies ever made. It actually starts off in a news recording studio, and they board a helicopter, and basically the helicopter needs to land for fuel, and they land on top of what is introduced in a really amazing way. The main character in this show is absolutely the shopping centre. Now, when they first get there, there's zombies start turning up, because it says in the film that maybe they are just repeating what they used to do in life, so life was repetitive. If you walk around the shopping centre now, I can see where they got this idea from, because people do just walk around zombies. We don't really acknowledge each other, and yeah, so they wanted to play on that theory of us just doing everyday things basically. But when the zombies get to the shopping centre, obviously our heroes of the story have basically closed it off in a very cool scene with lawyers, and they're trapping them so they can't get any more zombies in, and then they proceed to basically remove the zombies out in a very good montage, and it's very well put together. It plays really cheesy music when they're doing it. One thing I love about this film, it's not afraid to take the piss out of itself. It understands what it is, and this is what George R. Romero always got perfect in most of his films. His later zombie films, I wasn't that keen on. Land was okay, but excuse me, but Diary and stuff like this, I kind of started losing interest in these movies. But Dawn was just like the perfect one. If you look at other films since Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars slowly got worse and worse and worse, apart from Rogue One. Rogue One was pretty good. Okay, so back into the story. They make it safe in the area, and they just generally going about their everyday life. They're in a shopping centre. They got plenty of food, they got plenty of clothes, and it would be maybe the ideal place to go to for a little while anyway, until resources run out. So I can see why they decided to go there. If you watch the director's cut, I believe it's around 3 hours, which is by far the best version to go for, because it's what George R. Romero wanted you to see. However, the cinema cut is around 2 hours, and so if you haven't got the time to watch the longer one, the cinema cut is just as good, providing you've not seen the director's cut before. So basically, spoilers towards the end of the film, like in every zombie movie, it goes to shit. A load of bikers break in, they destroy what they've made and what they've used to protect themselves. Tom Savini plays one of the bikers. He also played Sex Machine in Dawn of the Dead, you may remember him. He has the gun that pops up with the barrels of the gun, obviously making it look like some balls, yes? So highly look out for him and his cameo in this. And the bikers basically destroy everything that they've literally built over the car. I believe, I would say a couple of weeks, definitely not months. And this is basically the end, near the ending of the movie. Is about how they escape. Obviously most of them turn, and I believe it's the woman that's left at the ending. I'm trying to remember, it's been a while since I've seen it, but anyway, it was remade again. Superb remake. One of the best remakes of a movie ever made is Dawn of the Dead 2004. Just a fun fact, it released the same week as Shaun of the Dead. So I was literally, went in the cinema, watched Dawn of the Dead, and then went straight from one cinema screen to the other to watch Shaun of the Dead, which is another classic movie, but it's not a cult movie because it was popular when it came out. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this very brief talk about this movie, and next week I will going to be doing one of my favourite cult movies, and that's John Carpenter's They Live. John Carpenter, one of the best directors, if not the best director I have ever watched make films. Well, not watched him make films, but watched his movies, you know. So I will do They Live next week, and I will also be covering classics like The Thing, Halloween, In the Month of Madness, and Prince, and some other films that John Carpenter has also made, and maybe Memoirs of an Invisible Man with Chevy Chase. That was a great movie. People forget he directed that sometimes. But anyway, guys, please like, sub, notification, ring the bell thing, which is around here somewhere. I'm gonna put it. And again, have a great day, and I'll see you soon in the next cult movie reviews. But also watch out for my Last of Us reviews, and I've got a few collectibles. This one is my next collectible. It's going to be the replica of the Great Escape bike. Great movie, not a cult movie, an absolute classic. Anyway, thank you guys, and goodbye.